I was just chopping it up with brother Jacob, and still passing some videos around about about the Kirk situation. Brother Kirk, who ended up getting assassinated. But I got to thinking. The conversation led me to think. What we were talking about. I was trying to explain that, man, this they country. All right, white people came here, almost eradicated the Native Americans, and brought us over here as cattle. All right, as property. Okay, and now the cattle and the property is saying, hey man, you know what, we equal. And even for it to get there, them having to fight the British, had to fight them off to establish themselves here. And if that's the case, when you're talking about white privilege, it's their country. They get first business. Just like in the text with Israel. It's Israel's kingdom. It's Israel's country. So they get first biddings. They get first. It's gonna be a Israel privilege there, But and that's everywhere. That don't that's how it operates. It's just we done been programmed, and we've lost the idea of, wait a minute, man, we was brought here on cargo slave ships, and these conversations have been having about the progress, especially of the Negro. Through certain tragedies. All right, we didn't fight our way out, and the fact that they began to fight each other, and South had an advantage being that they had slaves. They had so many slaves. So you can come on up here, be free, whatever that means, and you can fight. You can fight for us up here, and help us free the rest of y'all down there. And what Negro go, especially you've been running already, and hey man, you can go up to the north, man, fight for them, and then I'll come back and I'll get the rest of y'all, and that'll be that. Like what slave wouldn't sign up for that? Especially if he's being mistreated. And so you had certain tragedies like that kind of got us in progression, and some of those tragedies even start being manufactured, i.e. the Rosa Parks situation. Before Rosa Parks, man, what is this? Bernard Rustin. It's a brother named Bernard Rustin, and he was a major homosexual. Think he had a pedophile case on him, but somehow he was next to Martin Luther King in the civil rights movement. He was a major player. He put together the Million Man March. He helped put together the Million Man March. But he also, they got together and was thinking like, you know what? Let's stage an incident on the bus so we can ride, let's stage an incident on the bus where we not gonna get up, and you're gonna go to jail, and then we gonna boycott, and we gonna raise some sand, and we gonna try to sue the state. All right, we're gonna try to sue them for discrimination or something like that. And so initially they tried it with Bernard Rustin. And y'all look this stuff up, and correct me where I'm wrong. So I'm just freestyling. I haven't looked over this stuff in years. But Bernard Rustin had this case on him. He had that case on him, and he just wasn't clean enough for them to get a lawsuit. And so they used somebody else, and then they tried it again. Then they found Rosa Parks, and Rosa Parks was clean. So Rosa Parks, that situation ain't no random event. That was Negroes thinking and playing at the strings to get the progression going, because they knew that they couldn't fight their way out. They know they can't fight for the progression. You can't yell and scream for the progression. And a lot of progression came from, them marching and then getting water hoses hit on them, and dogs sicked on them, and eating it. See, all that played at the strings. But a lot of you Israelites, and that's why I'm going to check some of y'all on that. Y'all want to talk this black talk. Y'all see that as, oh, they were cowardly, and oh, Martin Luther King them weren't and trying to talk crazy about the civil rights movement. And then now y'all out here marching and talking about, well, why they don't put us on the news? Why they ain't putting us on the news? And why ain't everybody? Because ain't no dog sticking on you. You ain't fighting no affliction. What you doing is safe. It's arranged. They gave you the clearance. They gave you police support. They gave you the clearance to do the parade. You got the paperwork. What else you want? Like, you ain't facing no affliction. So. And what are you marching for? What's the purpose? But because of some of these things, it played at the heart of white people. Of some of them, enough of them, where some legislations could be changed, and you can start moving it here, or we got to stop redlining this kind of way, just it's it ain't this, you just get the full thing, because at the end of the day, again, state country. All right, you can say, oh, it's ours, nah, and that wouldn't be right. That wouldn't be correct. What they did to get this country. I'm not saying what they did was right. Donald Trump wasn't right. But, man, it's war. We're talking about war. And, they get first pickings. That's how, I'm not even, I'm not mad at that. For me, that's expected. And when I get mine, my family gonna have first pickings. Point blank period. It's almost like, too, it's another video going viral with the, it was two young brothers that went on, they were fishing. They were fishing on some land, and old white dude pull up in the truck, He said, you got written permission from Trey and over there at Cracking True and True Trucking? He's like, what? He said, you got written permission to be fishing here. Who told you could fish here? He said, man, I thought this was state property. He said, state property. State property. This is private property. Anyway, he pretty much telling me, you need to get on up out of here, man. I was told to call the police on y'all and lock him up. He like, lock him up. He told me, you see something down there fishing, lock him up. And people offended by that. But me, I'm not offended by that. I know y'all like, of course you ain't offended. We know you love white people. I know you ain't offended. Nah, it ain't that. It's that, bro, you on somebody's land, man. You out there on somebody's land. You just can't, like, if that was my land, if I don't want you fishing there, you ain't finna fish there. If I got putting up no trespassing signs and so forth, then you ain't fishing there. And if one that white man said, hey man, this is private property, you should have packed your stuff up and left. You shouldn't have asked no more questions. And man, you was in the right state, man. You could have messed around and got shot. You could have, because you on somebody's land, man. You trespassing on somebody's land. And that could have been very problematic, man. I just would have went on and got up out of there. But sometimes our feelings get hurt, and we can't. I was like, nah. And then you try to shoot back, and you just get yourself in more and more trouble because you were wrong. You own somebody's property, man. You need to get up out of there. Out there in the boonies, and it's a well-off family that pretty much will probably just fully known in that city. So it's best you get on up out of there, my boy. But we took that to offense, man. But the video going viral, and for me, them white folks ain't do nothing wrong. They could have cussed him out if they wanted to, because they shouldn't be on. They only be on his property. But he didn't cuss him out. He just told him, hey man, he called me down here. He told me, because matter of fact, it was his son that owned the land. He told me, man, call the police and lock him up. But he didn't lock you up. But I think later the brother, kept pushing the situation, and went down there. Went down there to the place and got into it with him. And eventually, because the video went viral, and the white dude the family seen how big their brother channel is, they were like, well, listen, man, we can go fishing sometime, but and I would love to do that with you, but you can't fish here unless you got permission. You know what I'm saying? No hard feelings, but you can't come here unless you got permission. You can't be coming to my land. And can't do nothing but respect that. Can't do nothing but respect it. But we that's our issue, is that it's not white privilege. It's that we feel we have a privilege. We feel and that's why we don't know how to manipulate the system. We don't know how to manipulate the system. And I don't even know if I had got to my major point. I've been blabbering, talking so much. But, even with all of that, man, I was thinking why we can't keep our darn, and I don't know if I talked about that, why we can't keep our neighborhood clean. Why can't the hood be clean? Why does the hood have to be the hood? Why do the windows have to be broken out, boarded up? Why can't we maintain the little that we have? Why can't we maintain it? And because we're not maintaining it, why these folk gonna give us more money? Why they gonna put more money into it when all you doing is destroying it? And so now they tear the projects down. They had a major one here, Baker Village. They tore it down, and they only give like 15-20% of it is Section 8. The rest of it is regular nice apartments. You know what I'm saying? But that's because we not taking care of it. We don't take care of nothing. I remember Brother Moshe, man. So shout out to Brother Moshe. We were at Tabernacles, and a brother was leaving his tent area. Excuse me, y'all. He was leaving his tent area a little dirty. And not his tent area, but more so the darn table, during Tabernacles. He was leaving that stuff out on the table. Squirrels come in. Squirrels come in at night. They have a field day. Them darn squirrels, they love it. They love this time of the day. They know Negroes is going to leave some food out. And squirrels just tearing the stuff up, man. Tearing the bread all over the place. And he looking at me. I'm the leader. He looking at that, man, Man, look how they leaving that stuff, man. Look at it. That's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing, man. You white folks come see us, and, we supposed to be the children of Israel. We supposed to be light to the world, man. Look how filthy that little place is, and that table is over there. And, he had a point, man, And he keeps his house immaculate. All right. Every time you ain't gonna pull up on that brother house, and that brother house ain't immaculate. Brother Dion also run a tight shift. And both of them ex-military. I could have something to do with it. But yeah, they we had to be an example, man. And we show that these folks can't trust us with nothing, because we can't maintain the little that they give us. We can't maintain that and sustain that. Well, we can have neighborhoods where, generations can be raised in, and we're not having to move, every other year, or every renter special, or, And that just shows, you just ain't ready to lead no country. You're not ready to be put in no higher position, because you can't even maintain that little that you have there, You see these other folks, these Indians, these East Indians, they'll get in one of them raggedy hotels, man, fix that hotel up, and bring in an Indian, pretty much a slave. Bring an Indian in, a slave, so he can stay there, and he can work a little bit and send some of that money home. Send some of the money home, but he'll stay there. He'll stay there, live in one of them hotel rooms until they can get another hotel. And that's what I'm saying, just taking something and making it better. We've lost that. The Negro has lost that ability. He don't know how to. He's lost that ability now, and I think he lost that through privilege. He lost that through privilege, not through oppression. He lost that through privilege, through being, having certain opportunities that, our forefathers didn't have, and they had to make way and do, and had to make things work the way they needed to work. Like, my dad know how to do everything. It ain't gonna be great, but he'll get it up. He'll build a house. It ain't gonna be, you know, it ain't gonna be the spec. You know what I'm saying? May have some gaps in the doors, and some bugs may be able to get in, but the roof ain't gonna leak. The water gonna run. It may not run full blast, but it's gonna run. It's gonna be functional. But ain't got a garage full of tools. Everything needed to build a house. But I come from privilege. So, I can fix a car. I'm very mechanic inclined. I can build. I can use tools. I was here with him on a lot of the stuff, but I'm not him. And if I had kids, my kids would probably be even worse and then worse. And we not teaching them. Like, we don't have the urgency to teach them kind of things because of our privilege. Because these things are being done for us. People are coming in and gentrifying our neighborhoods for us. And then we coming out and then wondering why we can't, man, I can't even afford to stay there no more, man. Yeah, they don't clean it up. They had to come behind you and clean it up. And fix it and make it look nice. And that's why even investors don't want to deal with us. Even our black investors like, nah, I ain't putting it back in the hood. They ain't gonna do it, but tear it right back up. But why is that? Why do y'all think, man? I ran it on. Y'all be blessed. We'll see y'all on the next one. Shalom. Well, you know what? I missed the whole point, y'all. Us being kicked out of Israel. That's kind of what we ended the convo, was that Leviticus 26, where it, us being cast out of the land, cast out of the land, so that the land can keep its Sabbaths. And it's just, the Lord giving us something to maintain. The Lord giving us something to be a watchman over, to be a guardian over. And we treat it just like we treat the hood. Let it get washed up. Let idolatry come in there. Let all kind of wickedness come in. Let anybody come in and do what they want to do. And then we get kicked out and we get gentrified. Pray to stay with that. Y'all be blessed. Shalom.